Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a video covering the contract for the Mercenary Tier 10 medium tank, the Chisel, which is a tank that you can get between the 25th of February and the 9th of September. So if you do like the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, as it really does help out the channel. And yes, what we're going to do is show you the contract requirements for earning the Chisel. Then we're going to show you it in the garage, showing you the stats with it fully kitted out with the build that I run, and then some gameplay of the tank so you can see it in action. I think the last time I ran or showed any replays of this vehicle was actually pre-6.0. It was like August 2020 or something like that. It's a very, very long time ago. I don't play the Chisel that often, purely because I 3-marked it that long ago, and it's one of those tanks that I never really got on with that much. It's always been a fantastic medium tank, always been able to recognise it's a fantastic medium tank. I just never enjoyed it. So I 3-marked it and then just kind of forgot about it. The tank itself is pretty damn solid. It's got the M48A5 pattern turret, it's got the Centurion Action 10 hull, and the gun of a Chieftain Mark 6. So you got that 120mm gun that is pretty reliable when it wants to work. Sometimes the thing that always frustrated me with this tank was the fact that it's superbly accurate, its gun stats are fantastic, but it loved a good miss. It would just love to miss shots, and you sit there going, come on gun, really? And it was always really frustrating to me that when I felt like I could play other medium tanks and feel like the gun was more reliable. Even back in the day, like the T95E6 we earned for free, that gun was statistically terrible, but was far more accurate for me than this gun was, which was just, it always felt wrong in that way, but there we go. The Chisel itself is a fantastic tank. You've got pretty good mobility, you've got pretty good view range, you've got pretty solid armour. Don't really rely on the hull armour, but it will get you some troll bouncers off of the stuff like this spaced armour that's on the front. The gun, like I say, can be pretty damn reliable. The DPM's okay. A lot of tanks nowadays have surpassed it in terms of the DPM, in terms of tier 10 medium tanks, because they've all been buffed to crazy levels, and this tank did get nerfed. But on the whole, it's still just a pretty well-balanced medium tank. It's pretty damn solid at what it does, and it's definitely an enjoyable vehicle. It's available from the 25th of February to the 9th of September. Now, the thing with this contract is I've seen quite a few people put off by the fact that it is 980,000 XP. Now, it is a lot of XP to be able to get this vehicle, but the time frame is what is going off with this vehicle, and that is the fact that it's about 6 to 7 months it is available for. So it's one of those contracts that you activate, start grinding away, and only really truly focus on the hyper grind when you get to the exit stages. I'll call it the exit stages, which is like stage 7 and 8, where you really go, okay, I just must play heavies and mediums, which is what you'll have to play at that far end to be able to earn the Chisel, and just keep playing those. Try not to think about the contract too much, just play the requirement vehicles like heavies and mediums that are at tier 10 and at, well, in all areas in Cold War, to be fair, and just let the XP keep grinding. I do think it's a little bit sad that he can't do it at tier 9 and tier 10, because I think when I did it, it was tier 9 and tier 10 way back, and it was also 10 stages, which is why the XP requirements look really extreme at this point, because it used to be stretched over 2 more stages. But there we go. I think, anyway, if I remember rightly, don't quote me on that. But yeah, so generally, this contract is a massive time sink, and that's all it is. It's just bearing in mind when you're playing it, play a couple of games here and there a day in heavies and mediums, and then try and get that XP in that regard. And to be honest, it's going to be easier if you do it in Cold War, because there's a lot more options across all eras to do it, rather than just having to play tier 10 relentlessly to be able to earn yourself the Chisel. So let's go through the stages of the Chisel. So stage 1 is win a battle, earn 3,600 or more XP in any number of battles, with the medkit, repair kit, and fire extinguisher, and 5,000 silver. You can do that in tier 5 to 10. At stage 2, you can win 2 battles, place in the top 5 XP earners on your team in a battle, and earn 6,000 or more XP in any number of battles, and you'll get a silver booster and 5,200 silver. And you must play medium tanks at tier 6 to 10, and it's available for all eras. Stage 3 is detect 1 or more vehicles and destroy 1 or more vehicles in in 3 battles. Destroy 10 or more vehicles in any number of battles, and earn 14,400 or more XP in any number of battles, which will give you medkit, repair kit, fire extinguisher, some more silver boosters, and some silver. And you must play heavy tanks for this one, available to tiers 6 to 10, and all eras in Cold War. Stage 4 is assist with spotting damage totaling at least 4,700 in any number of battles. The destroy 3 or more light tanks or medium tanks in any number of battles, and earn 33,600 or more XP in any number of battles. That will give you a med kit, repair kit, fire extinguisher, some silver boosters, some XP boosters, and 2,600 silver. Got to play medium tanks at tier 6 to 10, and it's available for all eras. So far so good. It's just a time sink. The available tiers and eras is pretty good so far. Now we're moving on to Stage 5. And on Stage 5, we've got to land 130 penetrating hits in any number of battles, assist with spotting damage totaling at least 1 times your maximum health, and earn 76,800 or more XP in any number of battles, which will earn you 3 days of premium, a med kit, repair kit, and some vehicle XP boosters. And you've got to play medium tanks at tiers 8 to 10 and available in all eras. Now, for the landing 130 penetrating shots, to get that done in a decent amount of time, you could just play something like a GAU 8 Avenger, which obviously has the rotary cannon, and that will get you a lot of penetrations very, very quickly. Or just basically play any other tank, play stuff like autoloaders where you're guaranteed to keep pumping out shots and just let it gradually build up. Assist with spotting damage totaling at least 1 times your maximum health in a battle. You really want to take out something that's pretty stealthy as a medium tank and will get you a lot of assistance damage. You can play it more like a light tank. Something like a Batchat 25T can be good for that. Or something like the Mantis, which was a premium contract that you could earn for free as well, is also a good shout for doing that too. So let's go on to Stage 6. Stage 6 is destroy 10 or more vehicles in any number of battles you have received damage in, which is a little bit odd, to be honest. I don't like that requirement. The fact that you've got to destroy 10 or more vehicles in any number of battles, fine, that you've received damage in. So you're saying that if I killed 6 people but don't take a shot of damage, I can't get that. That doesn't seem right to me. That first bit, great. That bit, yeah, you know. 178,800 or more XP in any number of battles as well. So again, grind, time sink, and you'll get yourself med kits, fire extinguishers, repair kits, another silver booster, 1.8 million silver. At Stage 7, destroy 200... Oh, and what? Yeah, for that one, it's play medium tanks or heavy tanks at tier 8 to 10 and available to all eras. So Stage 7 is destroy 280 or more vehicles in any number of battles. Again, it just gradually builds up. Assist with spotting damage totaling at least 58,500 in any number of battles, and earn 418,000 or more XP in any number of battles, and that is 4.6 million silver. So you gain yourself a lot of silver for completing that stage. You can only do that in medium tanks or heavy tanks, and it's only available to tier 10 and available at all eras for this contract. Again, I kind of wish it was more like just tier 9 and 10, so it opens up the more availability of what you can actually play, but there we go. And then in Stage 8, this is where you get the Chisel and the Wicked Centurion 2D Commander. You can earn 980,000 or more XP in any number of battles, and again, it's just a massive grind to get there in the end. Excuse the phone. So must play medium tanks or heavy tanks at this stage, and available to tier 10 only, and all eras in Cold War. So yeah, you're going to have to play a lot of tier 10 to get that much XP, and a lot of medium tanks and heavy tanks to get that XP as well in both modes. And it is a proper long grind. The Chisel contract was always a major grind, but it's one of those things that you've got so long to do it that just activate it, let it run in the background, focus on it occasionally, and just naturally you're going to get there. It's only really the last 2 stages that turn into a true hyper grind of we must just keep playing mediums and heavies at the higher tiers. But yeah, that's the Chisel. So what will you be getting from in terms of a tank from this contract? Well, here is the Chisel. It is the tank you're getting in the contract. And like I say, as a tank, it's not one that I really particularly enjoyed. I didn't really get on with it too well. But it doesn't mean it's a bad tank. It's a pretty damn solidly balanced tier 10 medium tank. Like I said, the gun handling was a bit wonky at times, but generally, it is a pretty damn good gun. The DPM's alright, especially since a lot of the tier 10s have actually surpassed it at this point, but the DPM's still alright. Penetration is fantastic. The mobility is pretty good. The armor on it's really nice, especially when hulled down. It's generally just a pretty damn solid tank. So what do I run in terms of a crew and equipment? Well, in terms of the equipment, I run Advanced Loader, the Gun Stabilizer, and Optics. Optics to have that 512 meters of view range. The Gun Stabilizer to get the accuracy during rotation and movement down as low as possible, with the Advanced Loader to get the best out of the DPM as always. Gun Stabilizer just to keep the accuracy during rotation down as low as possible so that we can keep the aim circle as small as it humanly can be while on the move and during rotation, so that this gun can snap shots like mad, which is something that's quite nice for it. In terms of a commander, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Trap Mechanic, Rapid Aim, Steady Aim, Snapshot, and Run and Gun. The 3 gun perks to make sure this gun is as good as possible, because like I say, it is statistically really good, but sometimes RNG just, with this gun, likes to say, nope, you're going to miss all the shots you want to take, so I just try and help it as much as I humanly can do. With Rapid Aim to make the turret traverse better, as the turret traverse is slower than the tracks, so it's something that's nice to try and help out. And then Trap Mechanic, because I do tend to brawl in the Chisel quite a bit, so it's nice to be able to get the tracks back on quicker, especially if I've already burnt the repair kit. And, well, these 5 perks you can run on every single tank in World War II. So in terms of the armour, like I say, the armour on this vehicle is very, very nice. That turret front is very, very solid. You will bounce a lot of shots. Be careful of sitting still for too long, though, as the cupola on top can be penned, so be very, very careful of that. And if you're shooting at a Chisel, be careful of when you are shooting at it. The spaced armour all over this tank will end up eating chi and heat annoyingly at times, so just be careful of shooting this. Always, if you're shooting at the vehicle, shoot for the upper plate and avoid the spaced armour, as it will avoid the random shots that get eaten or the random shots that actually bounce on the Chisel and you sit there going, what? How did that bounce? Because spaced armour just goes, you know what, I'm just gonna bounce your shot for you, thank you for that. So be careful of that when you're firing at a Chisel. That's where the engine bay is on the Chisel as well. If you get shot in that back end, like here or here, it is quite likely to get set on fire, especially with the 20% internal fire chance, so be careful of that with the Chisel. And that's where the ammo racks are. It does like getting its ammo rack damaged, and there is a lot of ammo racks to get damaged, so be careful of that with your Chisel. And that is where the crew sits in the old Chisel as well. So let's have a look at the statistics of it with it fully kitted out. So as you can see, we've got a 57 km/h top speed, 20 km/h reverse speed, a 1040 horsepower engine, which is 20.24 horsepower per ton ratio. 50 degrees a second on the hull rotation speed means it turns very, very fast with a 48.65 degree a second turret rotation speed, which is still really quick to turn the turret, but it is slower than the tracks. Generally, with the hull rotation speed and the good horsepower per ton ratio with a 57 km/h top speed, this tank does feel exceptionally mobile, which is very, very nice. Ground resistances are also fantastic. They do not hold the tank back whatsoever. 346 meters of steel concealment with 367 meters of on the move concealment is really not that great for a medium tank. I mean, you do get spotted quite easily, especially taking some of the aggressive bush locations. You can knock that down with camouflage expertise and silent driving if you wanted to, and you'll get it down to about 334 and about 340 something with silent driving, which is definitely better than there is currently, but it's not enough of an effect to want to take those perks. If you feel like the gun handling is good enough without the gun stabilizer, you could drop the gun stabilizer, run the camo net, and it will feel a massive difference in terms of that camo on the Chisel. You got 512 meters of view range, like I say, which is fantastic. Worse than it used to be, because it used to have the 420 base view range, but 512 is still fantastic. 1.02 accuracy during rotation is not that great, with a 1.46 accuracy during movement, which is pretty good. Generally, the aim circle doesn't become too massive after moving and stuff. It's just when you're rotating the tank and the turret that can mean that the aim circle does bloom out a bit, as that's not very good, which is why we help it out with the gun stabilizer and the gun perks as much as we humanly can do. 10 degrees of gun depression means you're exceptionally flexible in the Chisel on the Chisel. Yes, the Chisel. That's what we're going to call it, the Chisel from now on. No, I'm not. This is the Chisel. 10 degrees of gun depression means you are exceptionally flexible on a ridgeline. Meaning this tank is great hull down, and that's where you want to be in the Chisel. All right? That's where you want to be. You want to be going hull down, limiting the amount of hull that people have to shoot of you, and then expose only your turret, as that is where you're going to bounce most of your shots. Like I say, be careful when you're going hull down with the vehicle, though, of sitting too still, as people can catch shots into that cupola, and it's not going to be a great time for you. You've got a 2.12 second aim time, which means it does take a little bit to aim in. It's not quite as quick as some of the other medium tanks at the tier in terms of how fast the gun aims, which can make it a bit more frustrating when it does miss. But you got 0.26 accuracy at 100 meters, which is exceptionally accurate for World War II. But like I say, the gun, even though it's got 0.26 accuracy, just likes to hit the floor at times. And you sit there going, why did that miss? How did that miss? What are you doing, gun, right? You've got a 6.93 second reload, which is 3.4, nearly 3.5k DPM. And this is where the DPM used to be way, way better, because you were probably looking at more like 6.4, 6.5 seconds in terms of the reload. And a lot of tier 10 medium tanks now. So it's one of those things, they nerfed the reload of this gun a long time ago, because the DPM was way better than every other tier 10 medium tank, and it had everything else going for it, like the view range and the mobility and the armor, all that good stuff. So they nerfed stuff like the reload and made it worse. So you now got a 6.93 second reload with the 3.5k DPM. But then, since then, they've gone on a mad spree of buffing pretty much all the tier 10 medium tanks in terms of their DPM, and a lot of them are pushing 3.9 to 4k DPM easy now, 6 seconds to 6.1 to 6.2 to 6.3 second reloads. And you sit there going, well, that Chisel nerf was great at the time, but nowadays you look at the Chisel and go, no, that reload's not actually that good for the tier 10 medium tanks it competes against now, which is absolutely mad to say, but there we go. You've got 270 penetration on your standard APDS rounds, with 310 penetration on the premium APDS rounds, and 140 penetration on the HESH rounds. Now, the HESH rounds can be pretty juicy against RE, against the lightly armoured light tanks, but you've got to bear in mind that you have 671 meters a second shell velocity on the HESH rounds, which is really slow, and the shells really do loop a fair bit with the HESH. But the standard shell velocity at 1372 and 1350 on the standard and premium APDS is very, very nice, and means you don't have to give too much lead at distance for this vehicle to be able to hit its target. But yeah, that's the Chisel. That's the statistics of it. That's what I run in terms of a crew and equipment. Like I say, it's still a pretty damn solid medium tank. You can have a lot of fun with it, and it has a lot of give to it, which is what is nice about it, with the armour, with the fact that the gun's accurate, the velocity being really nice. It's just that sometimes the gun does love a good miss, and you sit there going, but why? And it's just a tank that I just generally don't particularly enjoy, and that's why it's not been featured on the channel since 2020, because I 3-marked it and then just went, yeah, I don't really want to play it that much anymore, and I've got other things that I do love to play. Consider this, like, the M60 for me was always the pinnacle. I always loved the M60, and it was one of those tanks that I just loved playing, enjoyed every minute of it, even though it had worse armour than this vehicle. I just, yeah, there was something about it, whereas the Chisel, I just felt frustrated when I did play it, because I could feel the potential of it, but little bits and bobs about it just annoyed me, even though it's still very, very good. But there we go. So, what I'm going to do now is show you some replays of the Chisel, so you can see it in action, see how it handles a bit, and see if it's a bit of you, and see whether you think, you know what, I'll spend the next 6 to 7 months just slowly but surely grinding through it, and focusing on making sure I get what I need for this contract. So as always, everybody, I will see you in the replays. So here we are in the replays with the Chisel, and this first game, we're on one of my favourite maps, and that is Sand River. And on Sand River, from this spawn, what I'm going to do is rush to the position at G6, like a G6, because I can spot the people that cross up onto the dunes at G2, and I can get some free shots into their side. I can also spot people as they shoot at me that camp on the dunes at GH2-1 area as well. Now, the problem is with this section of the map is that it's quite often you get here, the enemy team's already made it onto the dunes, and especially the stealthy, quicker ones, they tend to start just absolutely trashing you. We tried to track and pen the Waffly 100 there, by the way, and we ended up not hitting his drive wheel. That shot looked like it went through the Waffle, but it didn't. It hit someone in front of him. It hit someone in front of him blind. They must have been well annoyed. And so we did get a pen. That was a bad shot. We did get a pen there, but not the shot that we wanted on the Waffle, because it hit someone else that was unspotted, which is just the way it goes. But now we're starting to overstay our welcome. Now, the problem with this side is that they do get the dunes quite easily, and if you stick around for too long, it's quite easy for you to start falling apart as the enemy vehicles start taking chunks out of your hit points. Now, that Terran there is probably the tank I ended up shooting blind, as he had 1 shot of damage worth of hit points lost. So we definitely shot a Terran blind there while trying to shoot at the Waffly 100. sad tears of sadness, right? Am I right? But we are staying here trying to fire as much as possible because the TDs are lit up. And because of where the light tank is currently, that means there's going to be nothing stealthed on top of that ridgeline because they can stealth up there quite easily. And if you stay here for too long, you will just end up suffering the wrath of those TDs. So we tried to get a shot into the 114 SP2 there, but it didn't quite come off. And I decided to go up over the ridgeline to try and get into a position where I can shoot down on this E100 and then use the dunes to stay hull down, shoot anyone that might be camping in their base, maybe get shots at this M48A5 and Highlander, and then use the ridgeline to stay hull down and try and shoot the TDs that we were just shooting at a second ago. Because once again, you don't want to stay in that position at G6 for too long, as that's very easy for the enemy TDs, especially when they start getting spotted like they were, for them to start just farming you. It's always a position you go to initially, get 2, 3, maybe 4 shots off. 4 shots is probably pushing it. Get 2 or 3 shots off, and then run away and go to a different position on the map. It's completely different to the position at G4, which is the opposite position for their spawn, because their spawn can sit there with impunity and not really suffer anything. You can't. You have to go. So we're in the position now to counter the Highlander and the M48A5. As long as they keep getting spotted, I should have some nice side shots at them if they keep trying to push. So we're going to keep poking over, putting shots into the side of that Highlander and M48A5 and just be an absolute thorn in their side. Be an absolute nuisance so that they can't fight the guys in front of them too easily. So we went for a shot directly into the side of the Highlander there. And sadly, the shot went high and ricocheted off his engine deck, which was like, come on, Chisel. That was pretty much fully aimed on the side of a Highlander. He should have been taking that out, but sure, okay. We're up to 3.6k damage, 391 assistance. The Tyran and the Waffly 100 get spotted. We put a shot into the Tyran because Waffly 100 is far more easy to spot than a Tyran is. But the Waffly 100 is still out. We put a shot towards his turret. Gun? Really? It's a Waffly 100 turret. It's not that hard to hit, but apparently it is. Woo! That artillery shell was close. We managed to get a shot into the M48A5, because once again, if we can shut down the M48A5 and Highlander, I don't particularly have to worry about what's going off behind me. The T57 Heavy is in a compromised position. That is very easy for me to farm up, so I just wait for the gun to get aimed in, and I'm just going to keep pummeling the shots in. He's the devil! 666, the number of the beast! We need to get rid of that T57 Heavy. We can't have the devil being alive on the enemy team. We're up to 5.1k damage, 391 assistance. We tried to get a shot into the M48 pattern, and sadly, it just didn't happen. We managed to shut down the Highlander, though, who was pressuring our 2 heavy tanks alongside the M48 and the T57. T57 Heavy is clearly pulled back to reload. We tried to get a cheeky shot there into the Waffle, but to be honest, that was just quite frankly never going to happen. T57 Heavy's back out, though, so we put a shot to the T57, helping our friends out if we can, stop them being pressured, aiming at his turret, and the shot goes straight through his turret cheeks. Like I say, this gun can be absolutely beautiful. That was kind of a very, very slim shot into the turret cheek there of the T57 Heavy to guarantee the pen, and it did go in. It's just occasional shots, like that one at the Waffly 100 turret when they were sat on top of the ridgeline and stuff like that. You go, really? 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 Okay, sure. So we've got the Hessian. Hello, Mr. M355, 512 into that guy. Now the Manticore's coming over, waiting on the reload, and we slap the shell in to finish off the Tier 10 British light tank there. We finished the game with a really nice total for the Chisel on Sand River. We finished with the victory, 3 kills, 6.5k damage, 1774 assistance damage, the first class, the high caliber, the Confederate, with 1608 base XP. Really nice game there for the Chisel on Sand River. And now we're on to the second replay, and we're on this map, which is Hidden Village. And on Hidden Village, what I want to do in my Chisel is do what you want to do in any tank that is good hull down, and push to the position around G3-4, because from that ridgeline, I can go hull down, get easy shots down into the people that are trying to push up the 2 line, and just stop their advance, which then kills their entire push up the, well, up this entire side, to be fair. I could have gone to position at E6, because again, I can go hull down there quite easily, shoot people as they and spot them as they cross the B line, going up to the corner at A9. But the problem is, you only really get initial shots there, and if they manage to get into the corner, then they then can push to B9, C9 into that area, and they'll get shots into your side really easily, and you'd kind of struggle to spot them. So this way is usually better for tanks that are very good hull down. So we've managed to get to the position quite aggressively, quite quickly, and we've caught out the T95E6. We put a shot into the side of that T95E6 as it was progressing, and we're just going to try and spot the people as they come round that corner, because they can get that round that corner without you spotting them if you don't push up far enough. So I'm just trying to keep them lit, and I come out the sniper mode and was like, oh, there's a UDES there. Well, that could have been quite awkward if I kept knocking him. I didn't even realise he was there. So we're just being patient. Patience is key, because we don't want to go too soon, as it, could be a bad time. The Jagdpanzer E100 gets spotted, so we put a shot into that guy. Bad mistake there. We poked over too soon on that Death Star, and we poked over way too far. I thought I was poking over with just my turret, but no, that was my whole side. So we end up taking 1,000 damage there, really stupidly. Don't be me. Don't drive up in front of 100. I clearly just liked 183mm of pain. It is what it is. Don't knock my preference, okay? So, we're up to 1,200 damage. That's a Jagdpanzer. I don't want 170mm of pain. I've already had 183mm of pain. And we got a shot snapped into his lower plate. And we didn't get spotted. And then a slim shot onto the lower plate of the 60 TP. Straight through. This is what I'm talking about with this gun. It misses some stupidly easy shots, but then hits the stupidestly of other shots. And you sit there going, where's my consistency gone? I just want to hit the shots that I'm fully aimed. Please, 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 please. So we're up to 2,000 damage. We're loading premium, because the premium can go through that Jagdpanzer E100 chassis, but he was also pretty well angled backwards there, so we didn't quite get it in. We aimed the shot into the side of the 705, who is really quite over-angled for this high-penetration 310 round, and we're just going to keep pummeling the rounds in to try and get rid of him. He ends up repairing it because he realises he's going to die, but he doesn't actually change his angle. I say that as we end up bouncing, but he is tracked. We make sure to aim a bit closer to us. Good night, Mr. 705. Up to 3,032 damage with 400 assistance damage. And we're just looking for shots again into that Jagdpanzer E100 superstructure. As long as that flattens out, I might be able to pen it. But he spots us, and I bounce. And I know I'm not sitting in front of that gun, because again, that gun's going to hurt. But thankfully, we actually finally go through the superstructure there with the 310 pen and shut down the German Tier 10 super heavy tank destroyer. We're up to 3.1k damage with 400 assistance, and we really want to close the distance if we can. Everybody's gone on the low ground, so we're going to go on the upper to see if we can get some cheeky shots into their team. We go for the lower plate of the 60 TP. Pointing up at us. And it ricochets. Thanks, gun. But we do get a shot to track and pen the Death Star, and revenge. Get out of here, Mr. Death Star, with your 183mm of pain. We got 1,600 assistance damage, as we were also spotting the Progetto 65 down below, and we got a lot of assistance down for that, and that's because the view range on this vehicle is so nice. And we've got a pretty decent combine so far. So the heavy tank gets destroyed. That means there's only 3 tanks left on the enemy team. It is the T92 HMC and a TD somewhere, as well as the other artillery. We've got Hesh in, because the Hesh will go through a Turan with 140 pen, and it will also up our damage against the artilleries. So we RB, RT on, and we pen the Turan there with a shot on the move. We're going to look into the M355 now as well, straight through the superstructure for 521. Make sure I don't drive too far around the corner so the T92 doesn't just absolutely blap me. And then we finish off the M355 with a shot, waiting on the DPM. Hopefully we'll get a shot in to kill the T92, get ourselves that lovely Dimitrius, and we do end up getting the Dimitrius there. We finish the game with a really nice total again for the Chisel on Hidden Village. And we finished with the epic victory, 4 kills, 5.9, nearly 6k damage, 2.1k assistance, with the ace tanker, the Dimitrius, the Confederate, the high caliber, with 1649 base XP. A really great game there for the Chisel, which, like I say, is a pretty damn fantastic tier 10 medium tank. It's a pretty well balanced medium tank at tier 10, so it's just not my cup of tea, really. But it's mad to think that I haven't featured this tank on the channel since 2020. Yeah, it doesn't feel that long, but there we go. But that's the Chisel. That's the tank that you can get from the contract that's running for the next 6 to 7 months. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!